Refused service for political views. Refused service for political views. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Camo Club. Dave Camo Club Camo Chat. Oh, yeah. I said last week I'm starting up a new midweek event, a live stream where I'm going to be on my Dave Hughes channel, and I'm going to be talking about some political things, not bottom of YouTube stuff. We got plenty of that. We'll talk about bottom of YouTube stuff on Saturday with Saturday Dave. But today is just a chat about politics and stuff that's going on in the world. Is she really going out with him? Is she really gonna... Oh my God! My favorite crooner there from that new wave era there in the '80s and '90s, Joe Jackson. Oh my goodness! Is she really going out with him? Joe Jackson is dead. He can't be that old. He's probably got to be in his mid-60s, right? Oh, it's the other Joe Jackson. Sorry, that Joe Jackson is fine. The jazzy Joe Jackson there from the music scene in the '80s is okay. It's Joe Jackson, the father of Michael, cancer or something like that. But 89 years old. That's Joe Jackson, the guy who was the dad to the Jacksons. So anyway, that's some of the big news today. But the big story we're going to be talking about today is Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's the press secretary for the Donald Trump administration. You've heard of him, President Trump. You've heard of him, haven't you? Anyway, she was at a restaurant a while back, Lexington, Virginia, which is home of VMI, the Virginia Military Institute, and stuff like that. It's way down in the southern Shenandoah Valley there. And she went to a restaurant called the Red Hen, and somebody recognized her and asked her to leave and said, "We don't want people of your political persuasion here." So that's the big news. There's a big new news development, though, on that today. The owner of the Red Hen restaurant has resigned from a Virginia business group. The owner of the Red Hen, who asked White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders to leave, has resigned from a local business group. Stephanie Wilson stepped down yesterday as the director of Main Street Lexington, which works to improve Lexington, Virginia's downtown. So anyway, the restaurant has been closed for a while. It's not scheduled to reopen until July 5th. But anyway, should somebody be refused service simply because of their political persuasion? I mean, yes, she's well known. She's on TV a lot. Is that good? I mean, does that mean, can we just refuse people service because if the owner of the restaurant is a liberal, should they say, no, you're too conservative for our restaurant? I mean, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. I think it's wrong. I think it was terribly wrong. That's my opinion. What do you think? Hi, Craig. He's the boss. The Doxinator is here, so you better be good. Hi, Ken. Hi, Bubba. Yes, this is my politics thing, Bubba. It's called Dave Hughes with the News, the Camo Day. It's part of the Camo Club. It's one of the many benefits you get by joining the Camo Club. Hi, Yong. Hi, James. Ken Van Tassel. Yeah, good. That shocked me. I really did. I'm like, Joe Jackson died, and then he had his age. He wasn't 89. And then I'm like, okay, that was kind of shocking. Like, what happened to Joe Jackson? Sing us a slow song. Yeah, he did some great stuff, but is she really going out with him? That was probably his super big hit. Right is Wrong. That was another song he did. You remember that one called Right is Wrong? Meaning, right wing is wrong, right is wrong. Get it? Hi, Atlanta the Brave. Hi, Ray Ray. Make America gay again. What? I don't think it ever was gay. Anyway, we had the elections yesterday, some of the primaries. We have found out who the Democrat is who's going to run for the Maryland governor, like anybody cares. What's his name? He's got a funny name, Ben Jealous. I think his name is Jealous, Jealous. That's a weird last name. So Ben Jealous will be. Maryland's a very Democratic state, by the way. It's one of the most liberal states in the country. However, they have a Republican governor named Larry Hogan who is very popular. He's kind of a moderate centrist kind of guy. He had some sort of cancer, and he's overcome that, and everybody's been following his health and all that. And he's a very kind of a populist kind of guy, and he's very well liked in the state. And I think he's probably going to be reelected. I do not see the Democrats beating him, even though Maryland is a very liberal Democratic state. Hi, Greg. How are you? Hi, old geezer. Old geezer. Old, is my room ready, old geezer? Old geezer's what, 39? Have you gonna take your mask off? Oshkosh, it's Josh James Smith. My dog Layla, Gezer Chan. Sarah can cry me a river. Here's my philosophy, okay? Here's my philosophy. You run a business, okay? You open up a store, okay? What do you do in that store, whether it's on Main Street or in a shopping mall or wherever? You make a moral commitment to serve the public. That's your job, okay? I serve the public. My restaurant, my store, my whatever it is, haberdashery, nail salon, whatever that is open to the public. You unlock the door, anybody can come in, okay? And you serve your social goal. Your goal is everybody's welcome. Okay. There's no sign saying you can't come in if. Now they might say, yeah, shirt and shoes, no service. But other than that, if you're properly attired and you behave, you're not gonna, grab things and run out of the store, then my thing is whether you're gay, you're straight, you're Jewish, you're Catholic, you're black, you're white, you're Asian, you're Muslim, or you're Republican, or you're the press secretary of Donald Trump, you deserve service, okay? And it's wrong to deny anybody service for any reason other than, if they're being antisocial, if they're, drunk, if they're being belligerent. Yes, that's grounds for keeping somebody or kicking somebody out. But if they're well behaved, none of that should matter. Your politics, your sexual orientation, your color, your religion, your ethnic background, everybody's open. And these laws that say I can discriminate against you because, say, I'm a Christian and you're something else and I don't agree with your philosophy, I think that's wrong. I think if you're opening up a business that's going to be making wedding cakes, it's open to the public. You must make a wedding cake for whoever comes in, whether they're gay or straight or whatever. That's what I think. And to deny people, to say, hey, I'm a Christian, I'm not going to make you a gay wedding cake, or I'm not going to make you a wedding cake because you're marrying a Jewish person, that's wrong. That's what I think. So I think this Sarah Huckabee Sanders thing, totally wrong. I think, they shouldn't, and the restaurant, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how this all works out. But what's your opinion on that? What do you think? They do get a lot of popularity. Wrong. Yes, nobody's ever heard of the Red Hen restaurant before. Now it's all over the news, but I don't know if it's going to be good publicity. All publicity is not good. How do we join the Camo Club? Send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. And say, I want to join the Camo Club. 6200 Rolling Road, number 2442, Springfield, VA 22152. I'll post the address with you, but that's not required. Oh, yeah. Brought to you by Chipotle. I love their tea. Anyway, so that's kind of one of the bigger stories. Right and wrong. Yes, that was Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson, that was a kind of a stormy family relationship, I guess you could say. The younger Michael and his brothers Tito, and I can't remember all the, Janet and anyway, big family there. But Joe was probably very instrumental in the Jackson 5, getting together and becoming such a big hit back in the late 60s. I keep mixing the Jackson 5 up with the Osmond brothers. Remember the Osmond brothers? Yeah, I kept thinking the Jackson 5, it's ABC, Got to Be There. ABC was probably their first really big hit. You and Me, yeah. Michael Jackson was my age. I mean, we're contemporaries. Me, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Donny Osmond, we're all the same age. and Caravan Carolyn were all the same age. But anyway, yeah, Joe Jackson, the patriarch of the Jackson family, passed away today at 89. So those are the two big stories. And of course, we've got the election stuff. A top Democrat there in New York got kicked out. He was going to be next in line for Nancy Pelosi's spot as Speaker of the House, or the minority leader, whatever they call it now. With the Democrats, he was a top Democrat. He got kicked out. So now they got somebody new. As Rush Limbaugh called her, a communist today. The Democratic Party is going to the commies, he says. So I don't know. Should businesses have to serve anyone they do not wish to? Well, it depends on, why do they not wish to serve you? I really think if you are, there's one thing about opening up a private thing. You can have a private business that you only allow certain people in. It's like a club. Okay. You can have a private school where only certain types of people are allowed in. It's a Catholic school. You have to be Catholic. I don't have a problem with private venues like that. If you want to open up a private bakery where you have to join the bakery and pay an admission fee, and they serve only who they want to serve, that's a little different than opening up a public business. If you're on Main Street and your door's open and anybody can come in, and theoretically anybody, I think you have a moral responsibility to serve whoever comes in. And I don't know. That's what I think. And if that bothers you, then don't do that. If it's going to bother you to have to make wedding cakes for gay couples, and that's what you do is make wedding cakes, then I don't know, maybe you should think twice about running a business like that. What do you say? Can they legally say, okay, I'm a Christian and I don't want to make a wedding cake for a Jewish couple? Is that legal now? I hope not. It's freaking like liberals denying us Trump voters and labeling us racist, even if people from all types voted for him. Yeah, I don't like any kind of stereotypical crap. I don't like that. Anybody, they all do it. All these radio talk show hosts, left and right, they're all stereotyping. One liberal does something, all liberals march in lockstep, and we have the same thing with conservatives. And that's wrong. I think that bothers me, and I see that all over, like the cable networks, whether it be CNN or Fox, or whether you listen to Rush Limbaugh or NPR. There's a lot of racial stereotyping. There's political stereotyping. All women are the same. They all, it's like, yeah, it's just, you see that all over the place. Michael's 9th anniversary of his dad's death was just 2 days ago. My word. Boo, boo, boo. So what else? Yeah, Joe Jackson, born in 1928. Got married in 1949. His kids are Michael, Janet, Jermaine. Oh my goodness, a lot of kids. Jermaine, LaToya, Rebby, Randy, Jackie, Marlon, Tito, John Vonnie. Never heard of Giovanni, and Brandon. There's a lot of kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 kids. Wow, that's a big family. Woo. Anyway, interesting, huh? As long as they pay their bill and aren't disrespectful, liberals are not wanting to be treated like Republicans, like they expect to be treated when they are in power. Joe Biden was denied service at a bakery in 2012, and him and Obama didn't go there after the business. Really? Somebody turned Joe Biden down, huh? I once, in the olden days, I used to have a full beard and I had my camo pants on. I did look kind of scruffy, but I'd go downtown DC. I had some freelance clients. I go to the Federal Communications Commission. I was writing newsletters. So I had some real business, but I did look kind of weird. I wore like sunglasses too, because I had some sort of an eye infection, and I really looked like the Unabomber. And I remember once I ducked into a hotel lobby because I needed to use the payphone or the restroom, and there was a guard at the door, and he wouldn't let me in. You can't come in. You can't come in. And that was the first time that ever happened to me. And I was like, why? He just said, you can't come in. I guess it's because I look like a homeless man or something. I don't know. Maybe no bearded guys were allowed in. That's like the only time that has ever happened to me where I've been denied entry into a public place. Politics is like a sport. Oh, yeah, it very much is. Oh, yeah. No sympathy for the white supremacist Trump snowflakes. Buck up, buttercups. Everyone who is not a conservative is a lib. Most people you talk to, everybody's a mix. They really are. Everybody's a mix. Very few people are 100% liberal or 100% conservative. Everybody's somewhere in the middle somewhere, and that's just the way it is. And you talk to people and, they may be politically conservative. They may be conservative. I tend to be conservative on financial issues. I'm very much, as I get older, I paying high taxes. You see, like the county government here just constantly is raising the taxes because these huge bureaucracies, school bureaucracies, and other bureaucracies, and they always have to keep jacking the taxes up. And I don't like that. I think a government should be efficient and try to keep the taxes low. So as on political issues, on financial issues like that, I'm becoming much more of a conservative. So everybody's a mix. Very few people are liberals, or Democrats, Republicans. They all, very many Democrats all they differ with each other on a lot of issues. Funny thing is, most of the hates and riots come from liberals like Antifa. Republicans, conservatives love this nation and don't want to hurt it, says John Wong. John Wong. Well, I don't know. The whole thing in Charlottesville last summer. You can argue till you're blue in the face who was responsible for what. I think the big thing about what happened in Charlottesville, the big thing for me is the fact that the police were totally unprepared for the two different sides, and that they let them clash. Washington D.C. has demonstrations almost every weekend. There are groups marching and demonstrating, and they've learned in Washington to keep them separated. Okay, you don't. If you have a liberal group over here, if you have a pro-abortion group over here, you don't let them. They can march over here, they can march over there, but don't let them. And what happened in Charlottesville was that they let them all come into that same central business district, and then the car went through, and somebody gets killed, and then that was the problem. The police department was not prepared, to be honest with you. I guess they had not ever seen some sort of a demonstration like that. Charlottesville's a fairly small town, so I think that was the big problem there. But MAGA. I think our country should be run mostly conservatives with Dems in charge of humanitarian issues, and Republicans need to decriminalize cannabis. I think there's a big difference too when you want to talk about marijuana, decriminalizing something and making it legal. You know what I'm saying? I'm somewhere in the middle there. I certainly don't think anybody should go to jail anymore, or even get fined for possessing marijuana. I don't think it's that harmful. I do kind of cringe when I see certain states like Colorado, where it's suddenly big stores and come in and buy it. You know, it's like alcohol's the same way. It's like, it's alcohol generally is probably not a wonderful thing. It causes a lot of cirrhosis of the liver and family arguments, and is responsible for some crime. And, it's something that probably shouldn't do too much of, but it shouldn't be, like prohibition. No, it shouldn't be illegal. It should be legal. But at the same time, it's not something that's necessarily really good for you. I don't know. Marijuana is kind of like that. You shouldn't go to jail for it. Decriminalization, absolutely. But am I totally for wide open free markets, selling it on the street corner, everybody smoking it? I don't know. Please say a prayer. The American bulldog Moshi. Moshi. I voted for Ross Perot in '92. They wouldn't even let him in the debates because his growing popularity. I remember Ross Perot. He always had that thing where he said, "You know, you got a problem? Well, I'm going to get together the smartest people I can think of. We're all going to lock them in a room, and they're not going to be able to come out till they solve the problem." And every issue he had that the same thing. Got to get the best people together. We're going to figure out what to do, and then they're not coming out of the room. They can't use the restroom until they come up with a problem. I mean, come up with a solution. It's going to be legal in Canada there this fall. There are medical pot shops. So I'm all for. I am all for medical marijuana. Good Lord, yeah. You know, if you've got glaucoma or a number of other things, it's supposedly very good for you. You know, I mean, drinking moderate amounts of alcohol, red wine can also have a health benefit for you. So, you know, I'm not. You know, it's like gambling. You know, it's a. I'm not a. I am. You know, I am not. I don't think gambling should be illegal, but at the same time, you know, you look at like the state of Maryland, they're building all these giant casinos all over the place, and you've got MGM and all these big companies coming in, and they're building them in areas that are near poor areas where those poor people are going to be tempted to go to the casino and blow their meager little paychecks. I don't know. Is that a good thing? I don't know. I really don't know. For society wise, is having gambling and legal pot smoking and the proliferation of all that stuff, is that something that's going to be ultimately good for our culture? I don't know. It's confusing. I must admit that. Decriminalization, but not commercialization, writes Judy. Just stop ruining the lives of people who like to smoke it, but don't put it on every corner and prescribe it for every medical. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Judy. I think that's a very good idea. You know, there's no point in putting people in jail and all that other stuff simply for it. It's very, come on, you got to say, because marijuana is no more harmful than your OxyContin or your Schlitz malt liquor. Moonchichi Manchichi. I'm doing this now. This is my midweek. This is my midweek little chit chat on other stuff besides the bottom of YouTube. Okay, if you want to talk about Caravan Carolyn and Lion Screw and Sightseeing Sally and Eric the Nomadic Fanatic, that's going to be Saturday with Dave. But this thing is called got so many names for this. Camo Chat. This is Camo Chat, news and views with Dave Hughes. Okay, so if you want to talk about political things, marijuana legalization, media junk, that's what we do here today. Big pharma. I was reading in the New York Times the other day. Do you know that there are some new drugs that have come out that cost you get this? I've got to get it right. $200,000 a year. $200,000 a year for 1 year's prescription to a pharmaceutical. $200,000 a year. That's a lot. You wonder, I don't know. There's something seriously wrong with a healthcare system that is charging that much for any pharmaceutical. And they say that particular type of drug isn't all that much more effective than the regular old-fashioned stuff. Big pharma companies need to be able to spend their money researching it. Smoking is the worst way to get the benefits. Yeah, I mean, you got to balance it. Big pharma. I don't know. It's not right to have a drug cost $200,000 a year. And how do you know that money isn't just going to the stockholders? Just to the big pharma companies, goes to the stockholders so they had a huge payout on it. Who was that guy that was doing the EpiPens or whatever? And I have a lot of friends who have diabetes who have this problem too. You have diabetic supplies you have to get. You got to get the syringes and you got to get the little bottles of insulin, and the cost of those have gone through the roof. I mean, and it's not something you have a choice with. Okay, I'm going to switch to another drug. There is no other choice for your insulin. You have to have it to live. And these people are being just, facing incredible problems with the higher costs of things. And there's so many things wrong with that. Hey, old geezer. I stopped smoking a year ago. Now I vape, but may quit too. Yeah. I don't know. That's one thing I've never done. I never got into smoking. So I'm pretty good at that. Judy repost. Dave has a friend named Moshi. That's why he didn't get it. I didn't. Well, he's not a friend. Okay. My friend Sandy in Delaware has a guy she was dating named Moshi. I'm like, oh, the Una bassist is here. Hey, Uni. Hey, Una. How are you? Let's see anything else. Any other breaking news today? We got to go to Black Bigot. Oh my goodness, Drudge is leading with the story. 44% see a civil war coming in America. That's not good news. Ah. Apparently, ex-Fox News boss Bill Shine talks to become the latest White House communications director. Wow. I was watching some I don't know what they were. Looked like Hispanic dudes with a little tablet down at the Starbucks today watching the World Cup stuff. Is that what it's called? The World Cup? Yeah. I mean, we didn't even field the team for it. Uh, so are you ready for the heat wave here on the East Coast this weekend? It's supposed to go up into the upper 90s. Ah, I'm reading some stuff on Dredge. Blacks face longer wait times on Uber. That's not good. That's not good. Anyway. Shirtless man in boxers unfurls banners, signs, dances, and vapes on LA freeway sign. Gee, I hope that wasn't Lou. Was it Lou? 72% of all Americans think news is fake. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole thing about the Facebook thing from the last election. I mean, there were so many little fake news items and stuff like that. I had a lot of that too. Even some of my liberal friends would send me stuff like, and then you looked at what's the source of this, and it's like, I've never heard of that. I saw your video on the homeless guy, which you gave a few bucks to periodically. Now I wonder about the guy. Yeah, I do too. Actually, I do too. I found out that he doesn't necessarily, he has a tent there in the woods, and I found out that he doesn't necessarily live in the tent very often. Some nights he does, but he makes enough money there on that little corner to go across the street to a hotel and have a room for the night. So he spends quite a bit of time in the hotel, you know, with air conditioning and whatever, and Wi-Fi and cable TV and all that. And that's okay. I'm not denying him that. But I think he should say that in the sign saying, "Give me money so I can spend the night over at the hotel across the street." People are thinking he's living in that little tent in the woods. I don't know. It's like e-begging on YouTube. You know, you got to realize, you're never going to know for sure 100% whether the person really deserves the money or they're just conning you. You'll never know that. It's totally up to you. And it's like an impulse thing. You see a guy, you instantly go, it's like those people that stand there. You see those all over the place now, places like Manassas, which is not particularly a wealthy area. The main drag there, every red light, there's some poor guy standing there with a sign, need help, whatever, and they walk right past you. I don't like that. I find that really creepy because you can't kind of get away from them. They're kind of standing right there by your window. They're looking right at you like, you're gonna throw me money. That I find really objectionable. The window goes up and I just kind of look the other way. I don't like being confronted like that. The tent looked brand new. It didn't look like that. Yeah, it was one of those REI tents, it looked like. Maybe he got it as a donation. I don't know. You had a video camera. Just because he is homeless doesn't mean he doesn't have the pride. He might have just told you about that where he stays. He didn't tell me that. It was some other guys in the back there. And I was saying, okay, so this guy lives in the tent. And they looked at me like, well, not really all the time. So he didn't tell me that. It was this, but they weren't his buddies, but there were other people who knew him there. There is a homeless shelter. I mean, this area in Northern Virginia is very good. They have quite a few homeless shelters here, and they do have a lot of programs to get people that are unemployed jobs. They have job centers. Fairfax County, Virginia, is very progressive when it comes to that kind of thing. They have they are what they call, they have these community centers for job seekers, where if you can go and you can get internet, you can look for jobs, you can get placement services, you can get training, and they have homeless shelters, and they do have quite an elaborate setup here. But a lot of these folks that are homeless, they have drug problems, they're alcoholics, and they are very distrustful of the authorities, and that's the way they are. And they don't want to be in the shelter because they can't drink or they can't take their drugs. My dog Layla makes me mad when they drag their kids out to panhandle with them. How humiliating for these poor kids. Some of them still have backpacks on from school. Yeah, and you see that too. Um, yeah, the kids will be standing there, with the parents, and they're standing. Yeah, that's a little much too. Or the guy or the person that can't speak English, and they have the card, and they come right up to you and hold this card in your face. Hello, my name is whatever. I'm very poor. I need your help. Are RV nomads considered homeless? Well, I think Blind Views had a very good little sermon on that the other day. It depends on whether it's your choice or not. Okay, if it's your choice, if you have you have the option of having an apartment or a condo or a permanent place to live. If it's your choice to get in your car, to get in an RV, get in a van, and go live on the road, if that's your choice, then you're not technically homeless. Okay. However, if you're forced into that position, that you really want to have an apartment, you really want to have a permanent place to live, and you can't afford it, the money's dried up for whatever reason, you can't get a home, then yeah, then you're homeless. That's the kind of line. So people can be living in their RVs and their vans, and you're homeless, but you're not. I guess it depends on what how you got there. At least that's an interesting way of looking at it. How about NTL Vlogs losing all his equipment after hanging out with Bama Mike? LOL, super chatting his ass off. Oh my word. Again, I don't want to talk too much about the bottom of YouTube today. We're talking today is news chat. Okay. News chat. This is my Dave Hughes with the news and views. We talk about some politics. We'll talk about some social media stuff. We'll talk about stuff like that. Okay. If you want to talk about bottom of YouTube people, save that for Saturday. I don't mind giving a homeless money, even if he buys a drink with it, if that helps him deal with his day. Who am I? I give to give, and my really liberal friends say I am nuts. I say, wait. Well, again, I think that's your thing. You can always go up to the guy and say, hey, there's a McDonald's across the street. How about I take you over there and buy you a Big Mac? Or, I'll get. Or is there something you need at the Target? I can get you. Jug of milk, some vitamins, some new underwear. That's always what you could do. That they insist on, no, I want money. Then okay, it's your social. What do you say? You give somebody money. Yes, they may go into the liquor store. They may, who knows what they're going to do with it. But there's no way you can. What do you do? What do you do? That's just part of it. It's just sad that you see people in that situation. East Coast Adventures, Dave. I haven't been to the Capitol since the '80s. Can you still tour the White House? I've never been on a White House tour. I've never done that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. My guess is yes, they have tours. Yes, I think they still have the White House open to the public, but you got to make a reservation, you got to go through security, et cetera, et cetera. My guess is you still can do a tour of the White House. This is the same thing with the Capitol building. I remember when I was a kid, you could just walk into the Capitol building, walk around, and just it was all open to the public. Now it's very security conscious. Everything in DC is like that. You go in the Air and Space Museum. It used to be walked in the front door, they sometimes made you check your backpack or something, but that was about it. Now it's like, heavy duty security. They put you through. It's like going in the airport. I noticed that I was watching a video on somebody in the Philippines. They have huge malls in like Manila, and they have security just like that, just to go in a mall. You have to go through a security checkpoint just to go in a shopping mall, which is kind of weird. The World Cup seemed to bring many countries together that normally don't get along. I think the World Cup is cool. I really do. But yeah, it's kind of amazing that the good old US of A couldn't field a team this year, and Iceland could. Little teeny Iceland has a team, and we don't. What's up with that? Soccer, as football as they call it, soccer. I mean, it's a pretty big sport now here in the USA. I don't know. We would seem like with 350 million people here, we could certainly field a team that would be competitive in the World Cup, wouldn't you think? Here's an argument: Fox versus CNN. Personally, I enjoy Jon Stewart, and he appears to be objective. Jon Stewart, is he even still around? I don't be honest with you. I don't think you get much news on Fox or CNN or MSNBC. They're not really news channels. They really aren't. They're kind of they're news hype at best. If something happens, like a plane crashes or talking heads, blah blah blah, blah, right, left, blah, 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 arguing and arguing and arguing all night. I mean, when I was living in Delaware, my friend Sandy, she had MSNBC on all night, and just the same thing over and over and over. And you're like bleary eyed after Rachel. That's not really news, is it? There aren't a lot of really good places on television to get news now. I just don't think, there really aren't. I think the internet is probably a good place to get news, but you have to find the right places to do it. New York Times, Washington Post, Drudge, even. There's places to do it, but what is my honest view on Hillary? I just couldn't bring myself to vote for her. I think Hillary has the same problem that Carolyn's RV Life has. I really do. That she has that kind of a, I don't know. It's there's a double standard in American politics or in American culture with women and men. Men can be obnoxious and and kind of have a certain way about them, and people just dismiss that. I like his politics. I don't particularly like him, but I like his politics. We see that a lot. A lot of Donald Trump people. I don't particularly like Donald Trump much. He doesn't seem like a nice guy, but I like his politics. I'm voting for him. When you have a woman running, it's not quite the same thing. You gotta like her. You know what I'm saying? She has a whiny voice. She's screechy. Yeah, okay, yeah, she may not be the nicest person in the world, but do you like her politics? You know what I'm saying? And I think that has a lot more of a negative impact with women. I really think if Hillary Clinton was a man, she probably would be president today. I think the fact that she was a woman and had that kind of style about her, I don't know. I think that was, we're still, we like to think of ourselves as a totally equal country, but it's still, people look at a woman differently than they look at a man, especially in politics. I don't know. Hey, the Swedes. I wasn't let in onto an army base here because I had a Jody sticker on my truck. Well, that's different. Getting on an army base. They're gonna. Come on. It's not like going into a McDonald's or the Red Hen restaurant there. I read the BBC, the Guardian, New York Times, Al Jazeera, Washington Post. Yeah, Bubba, you need to do that. Mix it up. Get a whole bunch of different different. I listen to the radio. I mean, we have one nice thing about living in Washington is we have very good news radio here. Okay, WTOP is a wonderful station. They got the headlines on the top of the hour. They do a wonderful job. We got NPR. We got I listen to NPR. They've got a real good NPR station here. We also got a real good righty talker here. So you take those three stations. We got radio. We got Russian propaganda on the radio here. 105.5 is Russian propaganda. Um, it's in English. There's a lot of, it's a good mix. And I like to flip around and listen to all of that. I think that's a good thing. Trump's softwood tariffs with Canada are adding $6,000 onto the cost of a new home. Yeah, I saw that in the paper the other day. Prices of lumber are going way up and housing prices are going up because of the tariffs. That's the problem with the tariffs. There's an upside and a downside to it. I don't know. Breaking news, David Muir. I thought you were going to give me news about David Muir. He's been fired. David Muir's been fired. No. I don't know. I do tend to watch ABC News the most. I guess if I'm watching TV news at 6:30 in the evening, I like David Muir. He has that kind of look about him. He looks like an anchor man. He has that coiffed hair. I like his style. Damn fat Kim. I guess you got to hand it. One of the things Donald Trump is doing, one way or the other, is we're getting the Koreas are kind of talking to each other now, and that was always kind of scary with North Korea and all their missiles and all that. So if we can normalize relations, DC 101 and Jack FM, yeah. The big rocker here in DC has always been DC 101. They've been here since the mid 70s. Jack FM's up in Baltimore, but they got a very good signal down here. I like Jack FM because they do mix. They just play a whole bunch of crazy stuff. It's called adult hits. It's not really rock. They'll throw in Madonna and, the B-52s and along with the, it's classic rock, classic hits. It's a good format. I like them. They're very good. We also have Big 100 here, which is also the same kind of thing. But yeah, you don't listen to them for news. Have the tariffs even been imposed? I don't know. Yeah, they keep talking about it. Nothing ever happens. A lot of Maine's wood goes to Canada to be processed and sold back here with a tariff. Well, there you go. You're kidding. Trump gave away our right to practice with our South Korean allies and give Kim a place with the big boys and disgraced our flag for having it been displayed as an equal there with their blood-stained banner. I thought Trump went a little bit overboard there. What's his name? North Korean leader guy, Kim, whatever. Calling him making him out to be some sort of a really great statesman and some wonderful guy, and he's a pretty brutal dictator. Let's just face that. He's put a lot of people in jail, work camps, whatever. He's not a nice guy. Hope the United States doesn't get too politically correct. This makes the USA seem weak. Interesting. Another interesting thing. Jerry Seinfeld the other day was talking about the Roseanne debacle. Roseanne a couple weeks ago, she came out and did the twittering about. I was going to say Valerie Harper, Valerie Jarrett, Rhoda. Valerie Jarrett was somebody in the Clinton administration, a black woman, and she made some relatively racially derogatory remarks on Twitter, and then she apologized for it, but it was too late, and ABC fired her. They fired the whole show. They canceled the show, even though it was the #1 show in the ratings. And then Jerry Seinfeld came out. He says, you know what? I think that was an overreaction on that part. They could have gotten rid of Roseanne and kept the show going. Couldn't they have? It's like House of Cards with Kevin Spacey. Kevin is a gay dude, obviously. And he was, there was other guys that were claiming that he harassed them over the years, and they got rid of Kevin Spacey, but they kept House of Cards going. Employs a lot of people. A lot of people are writers and work on that show. And they've, I don't know how they're going to do it in the next new season on Netflix, but I guess they'll have him just wake up dead one morning, and then his wife takes over. That show is a little bit honky for me, wonky for me, because the wife, the president's wife doesn't have that much power. She really doesn't. The damn crotchety isn't registered to vote. No, no puppet registration here in Virginia. Sorry about that. Dave, the Jerry Springer of interviews. They went too far firing Roseanne. Libs don't get fired like conservatives do. I think ABC was just worried about advertisers. The whole thing is advertising, and I think they could have just kept her going, and just said, "Hey, let's see what happens," and let the show keep going. In a way, I almost kind of wish they did that just to see what would have happened. If advertisers pull off, then they pull off. I don't know. Or they could have just had her written out of the show. She could have, maybe she came out of the Aldi one day and a dump truck backed into her, and the next episode you have the funeral, and then we have, I don't know, and then Dan, her husband, falls in love with, they could have brought somebody else into the show and taken over. I don't know. There's certainly easy ways to have written her out of the show and kept it going. Spacey, it's sad with Kevin Spacey because I think he's a wonderful actor. He has been in so many, I see so many movies that I've really enjoyed him in, and it's just sad to see that he's wherever he is these days, Spacey did a movie in a little village, and it was well known that he was all hands on for guys. Well, is Crotchy sleeping? Crotchy's here. Yeah, he's over there. He's always sleeping. He likes to sleep. Did I love Seven? That was a great. Was that Brad Pitt? Yeah, that was a great movie. I think that I'm getting my movies mixed up. That was a great movie. I did like that. Brad Pitt's a good actor, by the way. I've heard rumors about him too, but we won't get into that. Nowadays, especially down here in Southern California, we conservatives are viewed as racists. Very sad indeed. Yeah, I think that's a bad thing too. I really think that's a bad thing too. I can completely understand that people that want, they don't just want people coming over the border. They want people to have to go through a vetting. Most countries you can't just do that, right? You can't just cross the border and go into Canada and just, hey, we're here. They have border crossings and they're very careful about that. And I totally understand the people that want to have, you can't just bring families over. There has to be some sort of border patrol like that. But I totally get that. What happened to all the charges against Spacey? The problem, I think, with a lot of those harassment things is there weren't really any charges. It was just a lot of allegations. Bill Cosby definitely had charges, but a lot of those, it's just a bunch of allegations. And, a lot of cases there are payoffs made. There have been a lot of rumors about our president making payoffs to various people about things like that. They sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that's that. I don't know. Kevin Spacey, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow. 7. It's on at 7 tonight. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Oh, is Craig making a PayPal donation? Thank you, Craig. Oh, isn't that sweet? You're so sweet, Craig. Here's what I would do. If I could just do things, I would make California 2 states. I would make California 2 states, okay? It would be CN, California North, and CS, California South. Okay, CN would include Sacramento, San Francisco, and everything north of there, okay? Some of you divide it right in that general area there. So the San Francisco area, Sacramento area would be California North. And then you can just keep the capital at Sacramento, okay? Then you make California South, which would be everything south of there. So LA, San Diego, Fresno, that all stuff would become California South. 2 distinct states, and the southern capital would probably be Los Angeles or something, Pasadena, I don't know. So you'd have 2 states. Okay, now that would make us up to 51 states, But I think that would be worth it. I think California needs to be 2 states because there's so many people there, Now, the Republicans would never agree to that because that would mean there'd be 2 extra liberal senators. But, I think that's a good idea. I mailed you a bad check. What? I also think Long Island should become its own state. I just think there's a lot of people out on Long Island. Nassau and Suffolk County should become its own state. There's a lot of people out there. There's probably 3 or 4 million people there, and it looks funny that New York's an odd shaped state as it is. But I think make Long Island its own state, and then we could take the Dakotas and merge them. So North and South Dakota would just become Dakota. Cut it off at San Luis Obispo. My dad is Russian. My mom is Russo-Korean. They were born in Australia and they worked their butts off to come here, unlike jumping the border and getting in easy. And again, you have that problem with people that they work, they play by the rules and come in and become naturalized citizens. And then you see other people that don't play by the rules. And that's not a good thing either. Sunny Girl, my dad also applied for citizenship, and it is a rather lengthy procedure to do that. But it's got to be fair, right? If one person has to do it, then the other person has to do it. I totally agree. Totally agree. How about we just readjust the tectonic plates and send the ocean so California can be an island? Uh, I'm not a problem. Puerto Rico should become a state. Why not? I mean, poor Puerto Rico, man. They still places in Puerto Rico still don't have power from last summer's storm. That's insane, and that's worse than the third world. California already has 2 liberal senators. Having 2 Californians would add 2 Republicans. Well, I don't know. I think if you did split California that way, so San Francisco is in one part and Los Angeles in the other, I still think both would be fairly liberal. Places that are places in California that are conservative, and I've seen maps. It's the eastern part of the state. Sacramento to the east. There's a whole big Central Valley area tends to be conservative, and for some strange reason, Orange County, even though it's very urban, is also a very conservative area. But LA, LA is huge. The LA County alone is 8 million people. And that's more than most states, and it's very ethnically mixed and Hispanic. And I think you would just, I'm sure the Republicans would not like that because it would just double the number of liberals senators from California. Please no slurping on camera. Gosh darn it. You want to send me some money, you don't want to send me some money. I'm not begging for anything. I'm good. I'm good. I'm totally fine. I run a website. My website is dcrtv.com, and end of June, early July is usually a pretty good period for me because I have a lot of ads that are half yearly ads, so I do get some stuff renewing. So this is not a bad time of the year for me. I am not begging. I don't beg. Although I did fill up my car with gas today, and it was $26. Well, I had 3/4 of it. I had a quarter of a tank left. That price of gas is getting up there. 20. I do like that too when you see the RVers pull up to the pump. Especially whether there's that more journey up there in Canada, filling up with liters and whatever, and it came out to like 140 American dollars to fill their tank. Oh my goodness. Gas prices. Why do they always go up? I guess they always go up in the summertime, don't they? Do I have AAA? Yes, I do. Oh yeah, I think AAA is very much worth the membership price. I think it's a very good service, especially if you got an older car. Absolutely. It's kind of scary if you're out there traveling around and the car conks out. It's just you have to call AAA. I've always had a very good experience with them. I take my car. There's a AAA repair place here in Northern Virginia that I take my car to, and I've always had very excellent service from them. They've always been very honest with me and done a very good job. I have nothing but praise for AAA. What? No stickers, no Patreon, PayPal, or spreadsheet or commercials. You want to join the Camo Club? Send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address below. I'll post it later. It's what is it? 6200 Rolling Road, number 2442, Springfield, Virginia 22152. Send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. You want to throw a couple bucks in there, that's up to you. You don't have to, but I'll send you a Camo Club sticker, and you'll be part of the Camo Club. $5 a gallon up here. Where are you, up in Canada? Oh my goodness! Old Geezer just sent me $200. Old Geezer, that is so nice of you. $200. Wait. I'm not seeing that right. $2. Oh, I didn't see the dot. Well, hey, you're out of work, right? Didn't old Geezer lose his job? Has his mom and his stepdad living there now? Pay the bills. You ought to do a video of that, Yeah, I'll get about $1, maybe less than that, $1.40 out of it. Better than nothing. No, it is. It's better than nothing. Well done, Geezer. Good job, Geezer. Life in Delaware. Oh, yeah. I still think, Geezer, there's that radio station I was going to work at, WGMD 92.7. I'm sure you get it nice and strong there. They got Rush Limbaugh on. They've got, what's his name? I can't remember all those guys, but anyway. Big time! Gotta do it! Before the strikes forced me into hiring. $499. Oh, $499. Thank you so much, Aaron. Appreciate that. Chad was really getting on my case today. He was saying, I need to report the Greg Stott stuff. And I'm like, I still don't understand all of it. I said, I'll wait for your documentary to come out, and then I'll take it from there. So I don't know. I got enough trouble with Carolyn's RV life, and Line Screw and Sightseeing Sally. We've got a lot of big news this week. And we will talk about that on Saturday morning. Super Dave, Super Chat. Super Dave. Saturday. That's Saturday morning. I'm still planning to do it at 9:30. I was thinking of doing it later for the West Coast viewers, but I hate changing the times. We're going to do it at 9. I think we're going to just keep it at 9:30 on Saturday. That's the bottom of YouTube chat. Today is political shit. We're talking about the elections. I don't know. Are the Republicans and Democrats gonna be able to take over Congress? I doubt it. I kind of doubt it. The Senate, there are too many Democratic seats up for grabs. Democrats are probably going to take Florida. Rick Scott, former governor there, he's just going to be too powerful. He's going to beat Ben Nelson. I don't know. The Republicans could actually gain a few seats in the Senate, I think, in the next Congress. So I don't know. Hey, thank you, B. Tiller. $140. Oh, wait, $1.40. No, thank you all so much. Appreciate it. Craig Charlton message retracted. Yes, good old Craig. I am hoping the stars are starting to align. So I am hoping late July, third week of July, fourth week of July, end of July is going to be the alignment of the stars for me finally to get down to visit Craig down there in the South. And hopefully some of you folks down there in the South, down there in the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, Southern Virginia, maybe we'll finally do a little mini meetup. I'd like to maybe we'll do a mini meetup somewhere in the Charlotte area sometime in late July. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. I'm telling the ladies here where I'm living, I'm gonna be gone for the last 2 weeks of July, and I think that's a good time to do it. This is brought to you by Zep. Thanks for your contributions. Zero Effort Productions. Zep. Oh, I hear Tank out there slobbering. He's drinking from his bowl right outside my door here. Dave, Hollywood Boulevard live stream tonight. Smells optional. Hey, Adam, again, we're getting into bottom of YouTube. I don't want to do that. That's for Saturday, but I haven't seen too much Adam doing the live streaming. Maybe Trump should do a live stream. I think he should, he does Twitter. Why doesn't he do a live stream? Why doesn't Trump have a YouTube channel and do live streams, talk directly to the people? Why just do Twitter? Why doesn't he do YouTube too? Trump could be on a couple nights a week doing a super chat. Blue wrenches remind me of the little blue unerect penises. Bubba Warbucks, thank you so much. I do appreciate it, Bubba. Thank you. So anyway, this is our midweek camo day, camo chat for the Camo Club. Want your sticker, self-addressed stamped envelope, get you one. And we're talking about the latest breaking news today. Joe Jackson has passed away. No, and not the Joe Jackson from the 80s that does sing us a slow song. Is she really going out with him? No, Joe Jackson is the father of the Jackson family, like 11 sons and daughters. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. I punched up the local news here. Any other breaking news today? Any other super big stuff going on? Man, Justice Anthony Kennedy. Oh, the liberals are rushing to the bathroom right now. Kennedy will retire effective July 31st. A swing vote. That means that Donald Trump will have a new someone to nominate for the Supreme Court in addition to Mr. Gorsuch. So the Supreme Court will be taking a distinctly conservative swing with Justice Anthony Kennedy retiring. That is big news because that'll mean the court will become considerably more conservative, and that could last for another decade. Isn't that interesting? Wow. The Supreme Court may have signaled an end to the Union era. Yeah, it's going to be big. That's going to be huge. That is going to be it's going to be very interesting to see who Trump nominates for the Supreme Court. But that's big news. Bill Clinton praises Sarah Sanders. Okay, well, good for him, Bill. Good for you, Bill. You know, he shouldn't be kicked out of a restaurant because of your political views. I'm totally there. First same-sex couple featured on the cover of ESPN's Body Issue. Beer is being rationed in the UK, I guess because of all the World Cup games. There's too much beer drinking. You have to have ration coupons now. Anyway, that's big news. Anthony Kennedy is leaving the Supreme Court. He's retiring, so that's gonna be a huge boost to the conservatives here in the U.S. of A. Ghost of Joe Jackson. Yeah, again, it wasn't the Joe Jackson, the jazzy kind of new wave singer there from the 80s, who I really like. Beat Crazy. That was one of his big. I loved Beat Crazy. That's a great song, a great album. Hidden Highways, the Peters Rock interview before Congress is struck. Bill is hitting on Sarah. Well, she's from Arkansas, right? Huckabee. Her dad was what's his name? Huckabee. He was the governor. He was the governor of Arkansas, so she has Arkansas roots. And Bill is. They're all one big family out there. They're probably related. The Huckabees and the Clintons. They're probably, we're all one big family. Yeah, that's right. Bead Window 07. Right. Justice Kennedy is retiring. So that is big news. That's the big Zbigniew Brzezinski and the big news of the day. Wow. Yeah. That's a huge get for the conservatives. Absolutely. Janet Jackson came out the day before yesterday to forgive and thank her dad. Oh, I was like Janet Jackson. Something about her, she always was. Unlike the Jackson boys, the female Jackson. I don't know. Latoya was kind of weird though, but I always liked Janet. I thought she was a tough cookie. I always liked her. Camo Dave just hit 810 views. Please view it fast before it's old news. Am I going to vote for Trump again? Did I vote for Trump the first time? I did register to vote here. I moved my address and all that. I'm registered. I have voted in every presidential election since 1976. I'm very good about voting every. Virginia has elections every year. Okay, it's a kooky state. We vote for the federal offices in even number years, like everybody else does, and then we vote for all the state offices. They all come up in odd number years. Governor's race, the state legislature, they're all in odd years. So there's an election every year here in Virginia. So you got, if you're registered to vote here, every November there's an election of some sort or another. So what next? Marxist scum. Peter Stort was the guy who wrote Hillary's exoneration, was one of the top people starting the Russian probe, and was texting his girlfriend about how he hated Trump. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember him. Right. Stepping out. I'm stepping out tonight. As I told you at the beginning, I'm looking at my phone here, and I see a news alert come up. Joe Jackson is dead. I'm going, oh no, I loved him. And all those great songs. And it was like, no, it's the other Joe Jackson. It's the father of Michael and all the other 11 siblings, 10 siblings, whatever. Hey, Walking Journey, how are you? Hi, Lion227, Ghost of Joe Jackson. Okay. Bubba Warbucks, good thing you didn't vote in Ohio. What's his name? Who's the governor of Ohio? I like the guy. What's his name? Oh, I can picture him. I tend to lean to the left. You probably know that about me, but I like John Kasich a lot. He's a good guy, and I like Larry Hogan, the governor of Maryland. They're both Republicans, but I think they're pretty cool cats. If you get my drift. I like politicians, whether I can, I like John Warner. He was senator here from Virginia for many years. Remember, he's married to Elizabeth Taylor. I always liked him too. He was a uniter. He didn't hate people who disagreed with him. He worked with both sides. I think I like politicians that, you know, even though you may disagree with them, they're always classy and they respectfully disagree with people. They don't go out and scream and yell and besmirch people and stereotype people. And I just wish, I hope we would like to get more of that. It'd be nice to have that. Anyway, do you think Carolyn's RV lie will make a video that she is being stalked by a grizzly bear in Alaska? Well, I'll reveal that on Saturday when we do Saturday. In Ohio, if you don't vote once in 4 years, you will be purged unless you respond to the notice. States, well, I don't know how many years, but if you don't vote in multiple years, they will purge you. That's fairly common procedure. I don't know how many years it is in every state, but yeah, they do. That's a regular thing. People die, and you won't want dead people voting, do they? Because they usually vote Democrat. Yeah, both Line Screw and Carolyn have made up for that in the drama and views, both of it. Yeah. Only in Chicago, Dave. Yeah. Carolyn's RV life is already in Alaska. She's been there for almost a month now. So, what do you think of Blind View's new format? I like Blind View's. He's very cool. Hey, he's still, I think, struggling to determine what his new format is. But I do enjoy his interviews, and more power to him. People like to think of us as being kind of competitors, and I guess in some degree we are, but I think we do very different channels, and you certainly, I think, should subscribe to both of us, and you can, really, you can get from a couple different perspectives there. I think we should be a tag team, and I think we should go in tag team against Carpetbagger, and we should, bah, 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 bah. Oh yeah, Carpetbagger and Bubbles. Bah, 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 bah. I went to Duluth Trump rally. Didn't film much of it though. Okay, that's good. So they have a Trump rally in Duluth, huh? I would have vacationed if he had gotten the nomination. Yeah. He did run for president back then. I remember that. I like him. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. Dave, the carpetbagger is waiting for your chat to end so he can start his. Well, it's been over an hour now, so I think I will say adios here. So anyway, big stories of the day. I think the big one, Anthony Kennedy retiring from the Supreme Court. Big, big, good news for the conservatives there and the Trump people. Oh yeah, Joe, Joe Jackson has passed away. The 89-year-old hierarch of the Jackson family, Michael and Latoya and Janet and all the others. 11 kids. Wow. It's sad though. His son dies before he does. But and of course, more fallout from the Sarah Huckabee Sanders not getting kicked out there of that Red Hen restaurant, Lexington, Virginia. That was, again, I think nobody should be kicked out of a restaurant for their political views. That's wrong. That is totally wrong. It should never happen. And it seems crazy, just absolutely crazy. So anyway. Stamp licking, yeah. It was another stamping thing for the carpetbagger. his 300 Patreons. He has to stick stamps on postcards every month. Give us some ideas on how to get more views on our channels. That's a good idea. I was, I've always been thinking about doing some. I don't know. I'm still working on that. I don't know. You don't want to lie. You don't want to lie. It's like Evie Nova, quitting YouTube, ? And then everyone thinks she's quitting. No, she's not. He left me. She left me, Yeah, she left you to go to the grocery store. She'll be back in an hour. Yeah, she left me. She left me. I don't know. Oh, poop. I got to take a nap now. Thanks, Dave, for your bald views. Drama drives YouTube views. Yes, it's very true. Drama does. Want more views? Make donations to Dave Hughes. Dave, I like your streams more than the others because you don't curse much, and when you do, it's not really harsh words. Thank you. Thank you so much. So anyway, this is a little experiment. I wanted to try it out. This is the second week we've done this. Midweek, kind of Wednesday-ish. We'll talk about some of the big news developments, just, whatever's going on news-wise, not necessarily YouTube stuff. We're going to do that. And then if you want to talk about the bottom of YouTube in a chat format, we will do that on Saturday mornings. Okay? So if you want to talk about all the crazy bottom of YouTubers, tune in. You can either tune in Thursday night at 7 for Blind Views. Excellent. Always excellent. Thirsty Thursdays. So that is tomorrow night. And then tune in Saturday mornings at 9:30 for Saturday. And you'll be all totally up to snuff on everything. I never told you that. My dad used to, I don't know, he had some sort of, he used to have bloody nipples. He would come in with his shirt on and it'd be like, Dad, what's on your, I think they were irritated. I don't know. I've never had that problem. I guess it's not inherited. But some Band-Aids. Why did I say that? My dad was a great guy. We had a great relationship, me and my dad. I miss him. He passed away at 57, quite a long time ago, by the way. And I still miss him almost every day. I miss him. Yeah. Oh yeah. Camo chat over. All right, folks. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Time to end the stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to go watch, I guess, Jacob, right? Carpetbagger doing his stampination or whatever. What was that? No, they call it a woogasm, a woovalanche, right? Everybody from the Woo channel goes over. We're going to do a camelanche. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Vlog under.